Hello traders, and welcome to the Universal Securities Group YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in today. This is your weekly macro outlook number 2. Today we'll be discussing the current state of the global financial markets by providing our professional opinions, analysis, and forecasts for approximately 10 financial markets on a fundamental and technical basis. We will also be looking at 7 economic indicators. First, we will start with a recap of the previous trading week, then we'll move on to current news and the outlook for next week. Thank you for watching and enjoy the presentation. First, I have a recap of the biggest market moving events from the last week. The market seemed to move most during the US CPI, the biannual IMF meetings, and of course, the Federal Reserve meeting minutes. Here are some headlines I compiled throughout the week, which were also influential to the price action. Previous news: IMF forecasts higher inflation in 2024. Fed's Kashkari: we may have to hike further if the economy is more resilient. Kashkari again: the possible yield surge reflects rising U.S. debt issuance. CNBC: Fed minutes officials see restrictive policy staying in place until inflation eases. Minutes show. BOJ board member Noguchi: rise of ECC allowance band does not signify a tightening of monetary policy. Barclays cuts 2023 UK GDP forecast to less than 0.5 versus 0.6 previously. Social Security cost of living adjustment will be 3.2% in 2024, well below this year's record-setting increase. China consumer prices were flat in September, lower than expected. China exports and imports drop again in September. Total federal debt in the U.S. is greater than $33 trillion for the first time ever this year. President Biden: we're making sure Israel has what it needs to respond to the attacks. This is news continued. Reports from PIMCO via PickSuite X. Bullish on bonds for next 6 to 12 months due to higher yields, cooling inflation. Sees core U.S. inflation at 2.5 to 3% area at the end of 2024. PIMCO expects unemployment to rise next year, interest rates to go back to neutral levels. U.S. growth to slow later this year and in 2024, hovering between stagnation and mild recession. More stimulus needed to stabilize China's property sector and economy. Next, let's take a look at some notable market moves from the previous trading week. Here you can see the notable market moves. Gold moved 5.3% in a bullish direction. U.S. oil was up 5.8% on the week. The pound yen had a 250 pip move down. Pound Aussie moved 300 pips higher. Pound CAD had a 200 pip bullish move, and the VIX ended Friday 25% higher. Here's a FOMC Hawk and Dove analysis courtesy of InTouch Capital Markets. So I just wanted to include this because we mentioned Kashkari previously in the video. We could see here Kashkari is the most hawkish voting Fed member currently. Now let's take a look at the CFTC net speculative positions. We could see here on the most recent data released on October 13th, institutions increased their net positions overall by about 20,000 contracts. This data could be viewed as slightly bearish to neutral. Lastly, before we jump over to our browser, let's take a look at the red folder news releases for the upcoming week. Monday, U.S. Empire State Manufacturing Index, NZD CPI quarter over quarter, AUD meeting minutes. Tuesday, claimant count change for GDP, CAD CPI month over month, USD core retail sales, China industrial production. Wednesday, pound CPI year over year, and Aussie employment change. Thursday, we have USD weekly unemployment claims and a speech from the Fed chairman. Friday, we have pound retail sales month over month. And we also have earnings this week. So that is something to also be aware of. Okay, so now let's hop over to the internet. And first we'll start with fear and greed. Fear and greed is at 29. I believe it was 27 last time I checked. So we are still in fear here. Market is being driven by fear. Next, jump to Forex Factory Outlook reports. Okay, so actually we're going to skip that. We're going to go to Forex Factory first. So here's the news releases for the current trading week. Looks like you have a decent amount of news for the week. Monday, like I said, you have Empire State Manufacturing, red folder. I wanted to look at the yellow folders, really, because I put the red folders in the presentation. So for the yellow folders, I'm going to be interested in Euro trade balance on Monday, and CAD manufacturing sales and wholesale sales as well, month over month for Monday, and for the U.S. federal budget balance. For Tuesday, yellow folders, pound unemployment rate, CAD housing starts, looks interesting. That's about it for Tuesday. China, a lot of data from China coming out on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, housing starts and building permits from the U.S. That's important. And the beige book from the U.S. Japan trade balance. These will all be interesting news releases. Thursday, more trade balance, Fed speakers, NZD credit card spending, and GfK consumer confidence. These are all important. Friday, not much. I don't see much on Friday other than pound retail sales. Let's jump over to trading economics. So let's take a look at the current headlines on trading economics. So U.S. consumer sentiment at 5-month low. Wall Street ends mixed, posts weekly gains. Trying to get TradingView loaded up here. Let's jump back to here. So Wall Street ends mixed, post weekly gains. Week ahead, October 16th. U.S. import prices rise less than expected. China exports fall less than expected. Right, which we mentioned this early in the video. And WTI crude surges above 87. We'll be talking about oil later in the video too. And natural gas futures in Europe jump 40% on the week. So bullish for natural gas and bullish oil. Kind of looks like we're bullish on commodities all around the board right now, especially with gold being where it's at. Let's see the week ahead from Trading Economics. Short summary. In the United States, a key focus will be on the onset of the earnings season, featuring major players like Tesla, Bank of America, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, and Netflix. Also, investors will be paying attention to Fed speeches and data including retail sales, building permits, housing starts, existing home sales, and industrial production. Internationally, inflation rates will be closely monitored in the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, South Africa, and Malaysia. China will grab attention with its Q3 GDP growth rate, retail sales, industrial production, fixed asset investment, unemployment rate, and house price index. Finally, the United Kingdom will release unemployment rate and retail sales figures. Germany will share the ZEW Economic Sentiment Index, and interest rate decisions will be made in South Korea and Indonesia. So, yes, a lot of news coming out of China and earnings. That's the main thing I'm getting for this week. So, we're going to leave my FX book pulled up here for a moment. Let's hop into TradingView and get to some charts here. So we will start with the US dollar. We're going to start here on the weekly chart. So the dollar had a slightly bullish week. It did pull back to the trend line, which we mentioned we were looking for. The dollar pulled back to the trend line and it ended up buying off the trend line. So currently, see, we're still in this kind of weekly range here. Definitely still bullish on the dollar. No reason to be bearish on the dollar at 106. Scale down to the daily. You could see we had a nice level here. See, we had a nice level here on the dollar. Ended up holding and shot straight up. Broke through the trend line. At this point, I said we're still overall bullish on the dollar. I wouldn't be buying the dollar up here. I'll be waiting for a breakout of this box. See, a breakout, this box right here, or even a pullback to this kind of 105. Well, it'll be below 105. So we'll see. We'll have to see how price action plays out for the DXY chart. But we remain bullish on the dollar. You're still above your daily 200. That's your 200 right here on the chart. We could scale down to the 4 hour. And we're still in the trend line. Still above the 200. You also have a double bottom on the 4 hour. I could see a possible pullback to the 105.50 level. And we'll see how price reacts from there. So let's move on. Let's go to Nasdaq. Now, we were looking for sells in the Nasdaq last week. We did not quite get our level. We did not enter sells in Nasdaq, but our level remains on the chart. And I think it's a good level still. You could see, let's start on the weekly. I mean, you could see here, we have this descending channel on the weekly chart. We have a high. We do have a lower high, weekly lower high here. And technically we do have a lower low on the weekly chart. And you can see that weekly candle had a pretty nice rejection of that level. But like I said, didn't quite get up to that price level I wanted. Maybe 550 would have been a best entry. But you could have definitely entered at 15,250. If you're in sales right now, I mean, if you're in sales, I could see holding to the bottom of this channel. You know, there's no reason to get out of your sales if you're in sales. So let's scale down to the daily. You can see Friday was a pretty bearish day for the Nasdaq. I'll be interested to see how price reacts this week. I will still be looking for shorts on the Nasdaq. Definitely above this level, I'll be looking for shorts. There's a lot of liquidity up here, right around that 15,500 level, and I'll be shorting to the bottom of the channel. It just depends if we get an entry or not. Then 4 hour. 4 hour is slightly bullish. Pretty much closed right at 15,000 again. I think it's the second week it did that. So yeah, Nasdaq 4 hour more bullish. We kind of have this 4 hour setup right here. Looks very similar to this. So you could see it pushed up nicely. Same thing right here. But then it sold off right away. Made a lower low on the 4 hour chart. So maybe this structure will follow the same pattern. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that same pattern kind of playing out on the Nasdaq, but we will see. And then I want to see how price reacts down here at these levels. You have a lot of liquidity, ton of liquidity down here. Yes, it's a nice level right there. That's a nice 4 hour level on the Nasdaq. And look at that, right at your daily 200. So yeah, I'd be looking for buys on the Nasdaq down here. Let's see, get a potential long setup. I think this setup will require a lot of patience. You're still about, what's that? Still 5% away from my level here. So pretty much this area is a no trade zone. Where the Nasdaq sits currently is basically a no trade zone. So yeah, it's just patience now, and that's a buy setup. I'd be targeting the high. Stop loss is, it depends how price action looks. But here we set up a potential 1 to 5. Potential 1 to 5 if we get that level. For sells, like I said, I'd still be looking for sells right around 15.5. See, then like that. Stops would be right above there. And then I'd just be targeting the MA. So we have another potential 1 to 5 right there. So we'll see how price action looks throughout the week. That's the Nasdaq. But overall, like I said, still pretty much no trade zone. Gotta wait for this weekly channel to kind of play out. Dow Jones. Dow Jones weekly chart. Still well above the weekly 200. And you remain in this ascending channel. Dow, look at that weekly candle. I mean, pretty much almost indecision. Let's go down to the daily. So this chart looks pretty nice. You had a nice breakout right here. That was a very nice sell right to the trend line. I wouldn't be selling it currently. Be looking for sells around 35 if price were to get there. I don't think it will. I think price is most likely to break this channel on the Dow Jones. You have a lot of sell momentum here on this daily and a nice retracement. Let's see what kind of retracement that is. So you have a 50% retracement currently on the Dow, the daily charts. So price could even go up here to the 61 again, or it could just drop from there, but we will see. I have no position on the Dow Jones. I have no really opinion on it. It's again kind of in a no trade zone. Yeah, but that was a nice sell. That was a nice breakout right there on the Dow Jones. Dow looks more bullish than the Nasdaq, in my opinion. So yeah, Dow looks more bullish than Nasdaq. Let's go to gold. Gold had a big week. Let's start on the weekly, and we already know gold had a bullish move of about 5%, as previously mentioned. Nice move. I mean, he didn't even tap 1800 on gold on the weekly chart. Just missed it, really. So we're above the weekly 200. We have a double bottom on the weekly chart and a massive bullish candle. See, yeah, we remain bearish on gold, short term. Definitely want to see how gold acts up here. I think price will most likely touch this area this week, so I'd like to see how price reacts, kind of run that 1950 level again, see if price gets there. And you had you had a beautiful sell right here, a lot of momentum, and it could have been a break and retest. It gave a little rejection at first on the daily chart, and it pushed right through. So now you're back kind of in this range, this initial range right here. So we want to see how gold reacts at the top of this range. He did break through the 200 on the daily chart as well. So we'd be interested to see how gold acts at 1950. Not looking for buys at this level. Let's go to oil, another big mover from the previous week. I actually posted about this on X. I posted this oil chart when it was in this little triangle right here on the hourly chart. It looked pretty nice. You could have had a nice sell. It did a 61.8 retracement and then dropped, I think, $5. Caught it up here. How did it get out right here? About a 4% move on oil, so pretty good opportunity there. There is a lot of opportunities in the market this week. We'll definitely see when we get to some currencies. A lot of opportunities. So back to oil. Let's delete this first of all. And okay. So oil on a weekly chart. Bullish candle on the weekly chart. We also had a huge bearish candle previous week. Back to the daily. Daily looks pretty bullish, not gonna lie. I mean, you're above your 200, you broke back out of that level, this gray level right here. So I think you're just gonna push up on oil. I'd only be looking for buys on oil. 4 hour looks nice. You had a higher high. So I like oil. Oil looks pretty good right now. See how this thing forms out. Could be something like that. For oil, you do have a sell. I mean, you do have a nice area right here. Breakout area. And yeah, if you guys can see that level right here, have to go down to the hour. So potential sells on oil back down to this channel, but I wouldn't be selling it. I'd just be buying oil above like 85, above the 85 level. I wouldn't be selling oil, just buying. You're above 200 on the hour as well. So bullish on oil, short term, above 85 to 100. Bears, I believe bears are looking for 65 still on the daily chart. So we will see how oil plays out. A lot of factors affecting the oil market right now. So let's move on to currencies. We'll start with Euro USD. Start on the weekly chart. Actually, we're going to go monthly because this is a nice chart right here. So first of all, been in a downtrend since 08. Been trending down since 08. You broke out in 2020, came back in that trend line, and then broke back out just this year. So back down to the weekly. Now you're coming back to retest the trend line again. It already broke it once, and it's back in that range at a monthly level. Yeah, if you guys can see that monthly range right here, kind of had a breakout, but then it pushed back up into it. So I think the euro is, I want to be more bullish technically on the euro. Weekly you're still in that level. You did have a rejection almost at the top of this gray box, the blue box, and you're well below your weekly MA. So daily, yeah, this looks bearish. So I really wouldn't be looking for buys in euro at these current levels. I guess wow, I think euro may go back to parity. Yeah, euro may be working its way down to $1. We will see. The chart looks pretty good in my opinion, but I wouldn't be buying it at these levels. It's a lot of bearish momentum here. 4 hour, no buys, so pretty much a no trade zone for euro actually, but the chart looks good long term. The chart looks pretty good in my opinion. Next, pound yen. So pound yen, this is another chart I shared on X. If you want to follow our X account, the link will be in the description below. So GJ looks very nice. It looks beautiful. We did sell pound yen. We were waiting for sales and we got them Thursday. So we were expecting, and it kind of did exactly that. So it was a good trade. You could still be in sales. I mean, you should still be in sales in pound yen. No reason to get out of your sells. Let's go back to the weekly and real quick before that. So yeah, we did enter a trade. We got out at around 25. So almost a 1 to 7 risk to reward. We had a nice stop loss on there. This was an hour entry for us. So this was a good trade for us last week, and that was the only trade that we took. So pound yen. Now for this week, starting the weekly. See, weekly had a rejection. Bearish weekly. Daily looks bullish. Daily is bullish, although you did break that trend line, which we'll see. So you broke that trend line. Yeah, in my opinion, the pound yen is still kind of in a 4 hour range right here. and then you have a bigger weekly uptrend. Now this, where you see this big wick, this black line, I was waiting for another touch of this trend line, but we may not get that. May just buy from here. You're kind of in the middle of the range right now, pretty much right in the middle. So I'd be looking for pound yen buys. Pound yen buys above 180.50, like right here. If this low does hold, you do have a low. I mean, you have a level here, mid-range. So if you're willing to take some small risk here, buy the pounds back up. Better buy, more patient buy would be down here, closer, kind of closer to this overall weekly trend line. Nice liquidity sweep right here would be good. This curve right here, just mark that as liquidity. And the gray box. Yeah, currently pound yen is no trade zone. This is the hour chart. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Yeah, currently pound yen is in no trade zone. Wouldn't really be looking for buys in the middle of the range. I want to buy it at the bottom, as close as we can to this. You can see better. 4 hour, weekly. Want to get third touch of this, like around 180 maybe. But looks like no trade zone for the pounds. I don't think this low made on Friday is gonna hold. I think this low will get broken fairly quickly. Yeah, so if you want to sell, potentially could do a retracement. You can see the hour 200 MA looks fairly decent for sells. Around 182. So below 182 will remain bearish on the pound yen. And we're bullish above 180. But you're in a range. That's pound yen. Let's go to pound odd. Another good chart here. But we're in an ascending channel. Let's start weekly. So weekly, bullish, pretty bullish. Daily. Daily, same thing, bullish. Had a nice level here, bought off of it, and you remain in this channel. This is a potential setup I had last week. Still being patient, waiting to see if that plays out. I'd like to see a touch of the 200 before buying. Definitely not buying pound odd at current price levels, and I really don't see any sells in pound odd. Maybe you could get a sell at the top of this channel, but I'd be more interested in buying the pound Aussie. Let's even scale down to the hour. Okay. So yeah, pound AUD actually does look looks kind of bearish up here at these levels. I like to see some further price action develop later on throughout the week or in the session tonight. Kind of let this play out. There's some consolidation here on the 15-minute, but you are at the top of this trend line, so sell could happen. You know, of course, down to the gray level. I'm looking for a breakout of this trend line, this channel. Excuse me. Next, what do we got next? It's pound odd. Did want to look at forex sentiment. I forgot. So let's see. Pound yen. Retail remains long. Retail remains long. I believe retail was heavily short. No, retail remains long on the pound. They were long last week. Still long. Oh no, they were. Yes, retail was. This one kind of switched, so retail added more longs than shorts. Yeah, the yen pairs were extremely long by retail traders the previous week. Let's see EU. EU is 84% long, 16% short for retail traders. So yeah, I'll be looking for sells, short-term sells on EU. UJ, wow. UJ, 76% of retail traders are short, 24% are long. And let's see, GCAD. See if we can find pound CAD. Pound CAD, 63% of retail traders are long, 37% are short. So we'll look at pound CAD in a minute. And that might be about it. Just wanted to quickly look at this. I forgot earlier. I always like taking a look at this indicator. I find it very useful. So pound CAD, here we are. Pound CAD, we remain bullish above 0.65. This level right here is very nice. Start on the weekly first of all. So weekly, clearly bullish. I mean, nice bullish run here since the mortgage crisis in September 22. Daily, still bullish. Although you had a breakout of the trend line, we remain bullish on pound CAD just due to the fact that you are this 4-hour low right here. You're above that, so we're bullish. 4-hour. 4-hour again, bullish. I'm just gonna remove this. Doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, we'd be looking for buys around 65. Better buy would be the bottom of here. I mean, although I don't really want to see price touch this level again. I'd like to see it hold above this H4 low labeled right here. So maybe even a buy at the H4 low. See the price level 65.35. Have to scale down for that one. So potentially I'd be interested in something like this for pound CAD. Tap back to this 65, 40, 35 area. Stop loss below 65. You know, potentially could look good. I'd like to see how price action plays out. Then I'm targeting the top of this. So potential 1 to 4. You'd have a 50 pip stop loss. Doesn't look too bad in my opinion. This is another range right here. Our range. You broke out. Retesting it currently. Market futures market is open now. So that's potential for pound CAD. Looks pretty good. Now last currency chart. We'll move on to pound NZD. This thing again, bullish, completely bullish on the weekly, daily, bullish. The daily chart looks very nice. Double bottom at the daily 200 and right at our level as well. So currently we just be looking for pullback buys on pound NZD. Yeah, a lot of these pound pairs look really good. So we could see potential fib retracement if this high does hold. 20, yeah, right around here. Of course, I mean, definitely the golden zone. You do have a decent level. I'm gonna scale down. I have a pretty nice level here on pound NZD. I like this one. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. yeah, so potential longs here on pound NZD. Have a big target on this one. Be targeting pretty much 221. I mean 21, 200. You could have multiple take profits on this one, like 1, 2, and finally it's the top of the high. This is the hour chart, so it could go there. Let's see. Yeah, that's a big move. About 1,000 pips actually. 1 to 7. This trade is going to require patience, so just waiting for this trade to set up potentially. But I'm very interested in this setup right here. Pound NZD looks good for buys. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple economic indicators. So first, I just want you guys to see the mortgage rate. 30-year mortgage rate remains elevated, 7.57%. Something to keep in mind. 10-year yields, I believe you had some rejection. You did have some slight rejection on the 10-year, but not too bearish. Still looks bullish. You know, you're right below 5, so you still look bullish on the 10-year as well. 2-year, definitely more bullish. Yes, more bullish on the 2-year. Nice rejection here. Nice wick on the weekly charts. VIX, of course the VIX. And a nice rejection of that 15 area on a weekly basis and just shot straight up. But you remain below your weekly 200. So we'll have to see how the VIX reacts this week. Yeah, I don't know. No opinions. I mean, the VIX is just the VIX. But we do have a nice weekly wick. And show you guys a couple more charts just to keep these in mind. I think these are pretty interesting. So, U.S. bankruptcies. You can see we've been falling since 2020, but we've been rising since April 22. So, not quite a year, almost a year ago, April 22. We've been pushing up in bankruptcies pretty steadily, and sit right here at 15,000 level. This chart, who knows? This is just something to keep in mind. Bankruptcies have been continuously rising this year, and personal savings, at the same time, bankruptcies are rising, and personal savings have been falling this year. So also good information to keep in mind. And lastly, we already showed mortgage rate. So I think that will be it for this edition of Weekly Macro Outlook. Overall, we got a lot of pound pairs on our watch list this week. Nasdaq, the indices, they kind of look boring a little bit, kind of in a no trade zone for me right now. We'll see how price action plays out throughout the week. But we have a lot of opportunity, a lot of news releases this week, and a lot of earnings releases. So we will be paying attention to the charts and seeing what opportunities we can find. If you are new here or have any questions, please feel free to comment below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video or took any value from it. Please comment your favorite pairs down below and what you are looking for this week. Please comment what part of the world you are viewing this from. Lastly, be sure to follow our firm on X for daily market updates. Stay tuned for our weekly stock analysis, where we do a comprehensive analysis of one stock. Thank you, and see you later this week.